Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, so after 2 weeks of finding and researching article, we are going to discuss the main points. We will appoint Moiharan as the person to jot down all the notes. So who would like to start first?
Okay. Hello, good morning everyone. I'm Moiharan from MPE. Based on the article I found, it is focused on the energy efficiency of the LRT. The other point are several factors that can affect the energy efficiency of the train, including the delivery time, which refer to the time of train span and the schedule stop without moving. And then the next is the journey length, the number of train, and last is the train width. Then the energy consumption of the train can be divided into two parts. That is the auxiliary system and traction system. And then the traction system can be divided into four sections. That is the acceleration uses, regenerative energy, transit system, and braking loss. However, the article investigates the effect of head wear time on the energy saving of the train. Head wear time can be seen by the time interval between the tip of one train and the tip of the next one behind it. The shorter head wear time means the train have higher working velocity and shorter dwell time. And the result show the shorter head wear time can save more energy by scheduling more trains in the time. For instance, scheduling the different types of trains, such as 2-car train and 4-car train, can increase the energy efficiency of the system. As an example, Trans Jaya has scheduled more 4-car trains at the peak time, such as 7 until 9 a.m. and then 5 until 7 p.m. instead of 2-car trains. Justified, we can reduce the travel time and then increase the efficiency. Any comment?
So may I know what is the exact influence of head wear time on the energy saving? Because according to the statement, the 4-car train is arranged to reduce the head wear time. So may I know how this standing is made? And shouldn't it cost more energy to run a 4-car train because by considering the rest of it?
Oh, I see. So the 4-car trains can move more people than 2-car trains during the peak time. That means the two-car trains are needed to move the same amount of people. Then we can see the total energy consumption of a 4-car trains. It is less than the two-car trains.
Okay. So what do you believe is the upper limit of head wear time optimization, and how would one get there?
Oh, I see. So the upper limit of the head time depends on the safety distance between two trains to avoid the collision between the trains. And then based on the articles I used, the value is about 1 minute and 24 seconds during peak time. Okay, anyone?
So anyone want to start next?
Maybe. Yes, I'm John. So firstly, Pasara is unprofitable and has accumulated massive loss over time. Pasara has accumulated losses of 1.582 billion in 2014. Public transportation company which continue to stage massive losses over time will either have to bail out by shareholders. Pasara has to reduce the losses by increasing the fare. The ridership in Singapore is profitable because it had almost 3 million in 2015 compared to 500K for LRT in the current. So second, Pasara has very high financing costs because of the high debt. At the end of the 2014 financial year, Pasara had a total debt of 13.6 billion. This high debt burden largely accrued from bearing up company and fighting infrastructure project resulted in significant financial strain. With debt exceeding 20 billion as of our April 2016, further increasing finance costs. A fare hike at the end of the 2015 may not suffer to enhance Pasara profitability. The situation such as protection challenge for maintaining current LRT and rapid fare in the future. 30. Okay, Prasanana has a relatively low non-favorable rule. So Prasanana, So Prasanana have faced a challenge with relatively low non-favorable income from advertising, rental of space at LRT station, and property development. Advertisers would rather spend their money on big billboards along major highway to capture the eyes for income rather than to advertising of buses or at bus stop. To address this, Prasanana must enhance the commitment of public transportation, expand further bus network, reduce waiting time, and improve the overall commuter experience. Prasanana aims to boost non-favorable, particularly through property development while So thirdly, fourth, SPAD has done a very poor job of fair regulation in Malaysia. One of Prasanana's reasons for why it was always making loss is that the LRT fare had not been revised for 15 years. This little do not justification or explanation for how fare for various forms of public transportation are adjusted, usually hourly. How fare for it almost seems as if SPAD based in decision of how much of the rise in taxi or train fare the public can withstand, and then it will be more some time before fare are adjusted again. So lastly, the Malaysian government does not want to direct fund public transportation infrastructure. The government will pay for the cost of construction instead, while at the same time expecting the operator will cover at least its operation costs and ensure that making profit. The operator can fully focus on the running of the train without having to worry about paying for loading stock. The government of Malaysia has been facing a budget deficit since the 1998 Asian financial crisis. To ensure foreign investors of manageable government debt, Malaysia aims to eliminate the budget deficit by 2020 and maintain the government debt GDP ratio below 55%. So, any comment?
The Malaysian government is planning to revise the ticket price for LRT. Do you agree with that? Why?
Okay, so thank you for your comment. So I do not agree because nowadays people are more likely to drive themselves compared to using railway transportation, and the ridership decrease due to the incomplete and inefficiency of the railway system. So if ridership decrease, Prasanana will not be profitable. All of this will because the government has not revised it. Thank you.
So I will take over from here. Based on the article I found, it describes what technology is used by our railway system. From this article, I will be focusing on Kelana Jaya Line because it has the highest ridership in Malaysia. Even though it has the highest ridership in Malaysia, it has many flaws. For example, Kelana Jaya Line uses the Fort Rail Metro Transit technology. This electric transit train runs on the 750 VDC Fort Rail system and has been operating for 2 decades. As to why DC voltage was chosen, is because primarily it was for the reason that the line service required frequent stop and acceleration. The Fort Rail Metro Transit technology provides a solution to a stray current setback that the third rail technology can handle. It sounds like a good technology, but it uses a linear induction motor rather than a conventional rotary induction motor. After researching from Wikipedia and from Medium.com, a linear induction motor is less efficiency than a conventional rotary motor because the relatively large air gap increases the inductance in the motor. The large air gap also causes shaking motion when traveling at high speed. As a frequent Kelana line rider myself, the shaking causes a very loud and irritating noise, which we do not like. However, the linear induction motor does not need gearboxes and has far less moving parts compared to other conventional rotary induction motor. This helps at lowering the maintenance part and the cost. This also has a high bandwidth and accuracy of control center. Linear induction motor is lighter than conventional rotary motor, allowing more passengers to travel on board. So, do you guys have any questions?
Okay, so for the country you are currently comparing with, which is Singapore, may I know if they are using the linear induction motor as you mentioned, or they are using a more advanced type of the motor? Plus, may I know the reason why Singapore is capable of conquering the problems that you mentioned above?
Okay, so for Singapore, they use same linear induction motor as us, but they are third rail technology, which is lower than us. We are fourth rail technology, but somehow they are better at solving this problem by using effective electronic switching device such as gate turn-off, transistor, and insulated gate bipolar system. So, any more other questions?
Okay, then I will proceed with mine. So the title of the article I found is Land Transport Policy and Public Transport in Singapore. So this article explains how the Singapore government developed their railway system by implementing various types of policy. So since the 1970s, Singapore has realized the importance of building an efficient railway system. Seeing that the limited land area has constrained the development of their networks. Hence, the Land Transport Authority was formed and followed by the publication of Land Transport White Paper in 1996 to emphasize that the railway system should be the major mode of the land transport in Singapore. While MOT has started to adopt a multi-pronged strategy to meet the objectives. So the strategies include the integration of town and transport planning is one, and then the expansion of route network and improvement of transport infrastructure is two. And then the third one will be the harnessing the latest technology in network and traffic management. And then the fourth one will be the managing vehicle ownership and usage. And then the last one will be the improvement and evolutions of public transport. For instance, the planning of placement of the bus stops in areas with high demand of transportation helps to improve the last mile experience, which has been the largest challenge in railway system implementation as in our country, Malaysia. So furthermore, the government of Singapore even manipulates the needs of its people through the implementation of policies, including the VQS, which refers to the vehicle quota scheme, and then the COE, which refers to the certificate of entitlement. These two examples of the policies have noticeably increased the cost of buying a vehicle instead of using the railway system. So in other words, the government of Singapore creates a valid reason for its people to utilize the railway system as much as they can. Well, the increment of the frequency of their railway system ensures a steady and constant improvement of their railway system, either in the terms of technology or in the terms of quality of the service provided. In my opinion, of course, this can only be done if and only if the railway system is good enough to satisfy the user. Then the policy implementation will shift the people to utilize the railway system. by creating the needs or valid reasons why they should or have to use it. Then from this point of view, we can compare the differences in the policies made by the government of Malaysia and with the Singapore, and then we can see how the difference of the policy make such a difference. Any comment?
Yes, I can. So the Singapore government they have a determination to develop public transport to reduce the tertiary congestion because of the limited land. And then the government is also making an effort to improve the last mile experience. However, Malaysia still has to improve at the last mile experience. So in your opinion, what can the government do to improve the last mile experience?
Okay. To answer your question, we may have a reference on how the government of Singapore does it. In fact, the experience will be significantly improved by only building the shelters that connect the railway system and the bus stops, which connect to their resident area. For example, this is because without the shelters, reader factor diagram will be a constraint for the people who are likely to use the railway systems or railway services when commuting. Okay, as an alternative solution, the railway system should be perfectly integrated with other kind of public transportation like buses. Okay. Or even integrated with the destinations with high economic values. A good example in Malaysia will be the KLCC stop in Kelana Jaya line.
Okay, so Mr. Tomauche.
Okay.
So I recommend. So I agree with the VQS and COE policy, but and this policy should be implemented in Malaysia to reduce the quantity of car vehicle in Malaysia. So however, due to the incomplete and efficiency railway system in Malaysia, I think it will not be suitable for implementation in this decade. So this is why Malaysia can buy car easily is caused by the policy implemented in the Tun Mahathir era. Okay, so in 2001, the National Car Program was launched at the time. So Tun Mahathir to allow more people offer to buy the car. Tun Mahathir relaxed standard of policy, so every person can afford to buy a national car. So and the road development is growth increase. So that is why we have so many highways.
So this is the difference between the Singapore and then the Malaysia. Mainly due to the geometrically difference between the not geographically reason. Okay, so because as I mentioned that Singapore has a limited area, so they have the need. Then they develop the railway system in a very fast rate, and then the total area of Malaysia instead have a very high of the area, so they can
Afford to buy.
They can not so focus on building the railway system because the railway system will cost you a lot. Well, especially for the building and then the maintenance.
As an example, if the railway system is built in the rural area, the cost will become really high.
Also, this is one of the points because the rural area, as you mentioned, doesn't have a high economic value.
Yeah.
So after this, do we have any more article?
No.
Okay. So right now we have 4 major points, which can be summarized as a range of types of train in order to achieve optimized energy efficiency, technology being used in Malaysia railway system. So what kind of effort made by the government to favor Malaysia's railway system user, and finally policy made by government of Singapore. May I know how are your opinions on the current points And what else we could add to our faculty writing?
So in my opinion, not only for the arrangement of type of train, OE, and how about you can try to do research on how to increase the energy efficiency?
Yes, I will try it.
So also maybe you can try to compare our time between Singapore and Malaysia railway system to explain the differences.
Okay.
For Tom, I have a question. Can you research whether the decision of Pasarama is appropriate or not? This is because, in my opinion, to further develop the railway system, the profit should be clearly seen, or at least loss shouldn't be as much until it's constrained to the development and maintenance of the system itself.
Yeah, I will do the research for the next step of our assignment. I also agree that to prove that fact, you need to prove by data. So that's why it's considered. I don't feel.
So for the previous point, I see the difference between the technology being used in the railway system between Singapore and Malaysia. Maybe we can make an assumption before and in the reason behind the difference is due to the government not being able to afford the building cost. And then how the government or the company itself should do the construction or what initiative be done.
Right now, I'm not really sure about the answer, so I will look into it. So, any more suggestions, or do we need any points?
For my part, because I'm from the article I found, it's more likely to discuss about the policies made by Singapore, but not really mention about the Malaysian policies. So maybe I can try to find another article so we can compare the policies made. Then we can see how it affects to the efficiency of the railway system in both countries.
So we go to conclusion. So after listening to all the reviews for Adboy, I think that's the headway time is more important because it will determine the use of energy, as low as headway time can lower the energy consumption but fewer passenger per trip. You also write about several other factors that can impact energy consumption. You also need to compare the headway time efficiency between Malaysia and Singapore.
Okay, I have one thing to be discussed. So about our title, we are talking about the efficiency of the railway system, right? So the efficiency is in terms of time efficiency and then all the energy efficiency. That one we have to conform before we proceed with the next step. Okay. This is my opinion.
As for Chong, you will write about the Malaysian government lack of experience in implementing a good plan for this railway system, as it plays a major role in affecting the railway system between Malaysia and Singapore. And lastly, for Tom, you write how Singapore was able to successfully create a balance between the fee of the cost and not upsetting the population while being able to constantly improve the railway system in terms of technology and service. So finally, we need more, because for my part, I think I like the technology aspect in Singapore. So I will look into it and add it to the academic paper. To add this, I would like to thank everyone for coming to this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.